So what's this project you guys are working on? What is it?
Well, it's called A Day in the Life of the Hudson River.
And basically a bunch of volunteers from all over the Hudson River watershed, which includes us, even though it seems kind of far away, take samples and testing like around the same time on the same day. And that way, the DEC can get accurate picture of everything that's going on in the river at that time, because it's so hard to actually have test sites regularly at every single place.
It's important to do something like this because when you look at the stream, water flows downhill, and because we're more uphill, it goes down into the Hudson and then down into New York City and eventually into the Atlantic Ocean. So all water bodies of water are connected in some way, shape, or form. So what happens up here affects down there.
When they first start out, it's after 9th grade when they're invited into the team. And so they don't understand chemistry too well yet, and biology isn't something they've taken yet. So it's a learning curve, a steep learning curve their first year. You watch as they start to realize, oh, okay, chemistry, I understand these things now. I know what nitrates and phosphates and what pH and what turbidity and alkalinity are. And so it's nice to watch the light bulbs go off and they see, okay, there is a reason for this science.
In chemistry, we learned how to conduct tests for dissolved oxygen and other basic chemical tests, but we really got to use the tests that we learned. We got to test them out in the field, which is some really good experience.
Well, in chemistry, it allowed us to see how the oxygen interacts with the water and what kind of effects it can have on the water and how it can affect the environment, what kind of role high amounts of oxygen can play on life around.
It's definitely shown me more of a physical, real-life learning experience, and I've learned that there's a lot that goes into protecting the environment, and especially water ecology and how it affects the rest of the ecosystem.
It just picks up and it reinforces things. You might learn something in class, but you don't really know it and learn it until you get out in the field and try it, and that really helped me learn more.
So it helps in the class to understand it more because we have outside examples that we can use. And in the class, like in living environment and earth science, we learned about the organisms, and we learned about, how the land forms, how things will work through them. So we had just additional information outside, and then from it we had information inside, which is pretty cool.
Well, chemistry is very important because you're dealing with dissolved oxygen, which has to do with chemical reactions. It helps us to have a background knowledge of what we're doing, so we actually understand what's happening, why it's happening, and all of the results as to why it will happen again.
We put all this data together, and in the spring we visit the Mohawk Watershed Symposium at Union College. We share our data, and the kids get published. We've had 2 groups of students published in their bulletin, and it's a great opportunity. It's what we do, service through science.